To move to another region that is it's now brewing, it's also brewing, that is the Ukambani region. We see that Kalonzo facing governor's rebellion. The county chiefs say they will rally the community in a few political directions. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Nation and also on page 6 of the Standard. What a coincidence. Page 6 of the Standard, Governor's Route for Progress. 3 governors from Ukambani have vowed that no amount of political arm twisting will stop them from actualizing their development agenda for the region. And they were speaking at Masinga Market after the commissioning of the Ukambani I can't see. Let me see that. Kivandini Masinga Road. That is Governors Alfred Mutua, Charity Ngilu, and Kivutha Kibwana. You obviously remember a few weeks ago, we saw Professor Kibwana expressing discomfort with the tag, rather with the words of Kalonzo Musyoka, that he is now henceforth going to be Mtu wa Mkono wa Rais. And people are saying that he's sort of intimidating the leadership of that region. We even saw some up sounds from the gentleman from Robert Mbui saying that, and also the Senator for Kitui opposed to that kind of arrangement. So I'm just wondering, what is happening to us? These are 3 governors who have come together. They want to forge ahead in terms of development. Of course, they have their own views politically. Why do we still have the politics of patronage in this country?
Well, you know, I have no doubt that Kalonzo Musyoka still remains the leader of the combination. Look at the number of members of parliament that he has, look at the number of senators, and look at even the number of members of county assembly that he has. That is indisputable. What we are seeing in Ukambani, I would call it local politics. And if you look at the 3 governors, all of them have got some local challenges, which they believe is emanating from either MCAs or members of parliament who are allied to Wiper. If, for example, Governor Mutua just had a victory in the Supreme Court recently, where he had been put on the edge, and his antagonist was someone who was supported by the Wiper party. That is Yaliondwele Sipite. That is, we call her Madam Wavinya Ndeti. And I mean, it was clear that Wavinya Ndeti was a Wiper candidate, and Wavinya Ndeti, having gone through the judicial process, hoped that she was going to get the Wiper ticket to dislodge Governor Mutua. The Supreme Court ruled differently, and Mutua survived. Look at Governor Kivutha Kibwana. Kivutha Kibwana was a leader of his own party. He only came back to Wiper for political survival, but he's a man, he's an intellectual with very strong ideas. But he's also facing some few challenges from members of county assembly. The issues within the assembly of Makueni are not new, because there's a year when there were even gunshots and people are almost killed. Look at Governor Ngilu. Governor Ngilu is having her own challenges with the Speaker of the Assembly, Ndoto, who has been his rival for her rival for 20 years, and rebellion from the Assembly. So I think what is happening in Ukambani is local politics, particularly coming out of the county assemblies, but I don't think that those grievances are going to change the stature of Kalonzo Musyoka as a de facto leader of the combination.
I see a quotation here that they are accusing, it is wrong for the Wiper leader to allow Wiper MCAs to derail the work of governors through politically motivated disagreements that end up affecting the people who elected them. That's according to Professor Kivutha Kibwana on the Daily Nation. Then on the Standard, you will see that someone, that is Robert Mbui, saying that Kibwana has absconded his responsibilities as the chairman of the party, that is Wiper. He ought to leave the party and preoccupy himself with his attacks on Kalonzo. I'm just wondering, what's all this? Why is this happening at such a time, bearing in mind that devolution is now in its 6th or 7th year, thereabout? Why aren't we able to focus on development without invoking these political jabs?
Well, because the two go hand in hand, and political leaders also happen to be the one who are mandated by our constitution upon election to lead and implement our development agenda, and so the two would always find their way together. Having probably coming from what Senator Kajwang was saying, the situation, I think, in Ukambani is one that is pretty understandable. understandable to this extent that if you look at the history of all these three governors, they have been, each one of them at their own time, other than Kivutha Kibwana, arch nemesis of Kalonzo himself individually. If you remember in the last cycle between 2013 and 2017, one of the greatest rivals of Kalonzo was Mutua, the governor. And he was largely seen then as one intending and working towards taking over from Kalonzo. And they never had one single day when they were buddies. Remember again the rivalry between Ngilu and Kalonzo as two individuals. They only seemed to have come close during the last election when Ngilu was seeking to be elected as a governor. And so now again you come to Kivutha of late, because he has found national favor with people with his tactic of leadership, where people have been praising him for developing and taking steps towards growing Makueni into an admirable county in his leadership. To the extent that if you've seen Kituku in social media, some people are proposing that he's a potential presidential candidate or maybe even a running mate. So when his political stature starts to rise and he looks like a threat to Kalonzo, then that's bound to happen. The question is he starting to believe it himself that he's grown to the extent that now he can rival Kalonzo? But what Senator Kajwang said is precisely what I would also allude to, that because numbers don't lie. That when you count the number of people elected under Wiper in the entire Ukambani region, he still commands some respectable command. The issue here is, is able to continue to hold that kind of clout. Now that these governors are entrenching themselves, I was trying to just look at Ngilu's trajectory. What does it look like? Does she look like somebody who wants to jump from that position of governor and maybe go for another position? I mean, my reading is like she would want to remain there maybe for another one term. And so that means she will have to solidify her ground very well. Now Mutua is on his way out, and his way out may not mean way out of politics. He may be seeking other ventures in politics, as he said. And so all this would be better off now with Kalonzo out of their way, and that is the way it is. And because as I finalize on that point, and because unfortunately, Kalonzo has been out of elective office or elected office for now 2 terms continuously. Then you can't fail to fill that vacuum a little bit, and I believe that's how they're reasoning. That there's a vacuum now that requires to be filled. If I would speak to Kalonzo as a person, and he is my friend, the only one area that I found he miscalculated a little bit was when he had direct differences with people like Musila. Yeah, who he's chairman of the party. Who at that time who are his very staunch supporters. If maybe he had kept those kind of people within his his house, then maybe he would have been stronger.